Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Well, I'm excited to share with you my March passport kit that I named Vintage Garden. And as you can see, all of these images that I'm showing you here are of a vintage garden with lots of bees and flowers and honeycombs and just all sorts of wonderful vintage goodness. Now this month, I decided to add another sheet for you. So that way you can create some A2 cards if you want to. Most of the videos that I share with you, I am creating my signature passport card, but I wanted to also emphasize for you this month that not only can you create these wonderful little passport books, but you can create great cards as well. So as a bonus, after I create my passport card, I am going to share with you another card that I created with this kit as well. So be sure to get a cup of tea, sit back and relax, and let's walk through my vintage garden. Now the first thing, of course, you're going to want to do is to print out your images. And like I said, you're going to get 4 sheets. And some of the images are more of a cardstock background. So if you need more than 1 sheet, you may want to just kind of plan for that and print out a couple of those. The first 3 sheets that I'm sharing with you are to create your passport kit. And you're going to have everything that you need to create this little passport card that is already sized and ready for you to put together. Some of you have emailed me asking me for directions for these passport cards, but the videos are the directions. So if you follow along, you should be able to easily put together this passport card. Now, after I cut out all of my images, what I like to do is I like to take some of my walnut stain and I like to edge up the sides of my cardstock. Now, as you can see on this particular set, I did create a really nice border for you, but when you cut it out, if you leave a little bit of the white edge, you may want to go ahead and cover that up, and walnut stain is really great for that. There are some other colors that would work great as well. Your vintage photo would work well, and then also ground espresso would work really nice as well. So any of those darker brown tones work really nice to edge up the sides of your cardstock. And then after you have your cardstock all edged up, you're going to want to go ahead and get your scoreboard out. And your score is going to be on your 2 3/4 line. So when you take this piece of paper, just make sure that you start upside down. That's typically where I start, and start on your 2 3/4 line, and then flip it over to give it one more nice score. And then on the smaller piece of paper, you're going to want to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch. And this is going to create your first, second, and third page of your passport card. Now you're going to need another score line on that roses piece that I had removed. So when you are scoring that on your 2 3/4 line, you may want to just go ahead and rotate it like I'm going to show you here to score your other piece. So you start out with your 2 3/4 and you want to just rotate it to the right, and then you're going to score on your 3.5 mark. And this will be where you're going to cut out your little rectangle piece to create your 3 pages for your passport card. Now remember, these pages are sized perfectly, so you don't have to resize them at all. All you need to do is open up your image and print it out, and cut them after you print them. So once you cut out that small rectangle piece, you're going to want to go ahead and fold over where you had to make nice creases for your card. And then those 2 pieces fit really nicely together. Now, one thing I want to share with you is when you are creating your passport card, I'm giving you one idea. There are so many variations that you can create using this passport kit. You can use some of your own stamps like I've shared with you here to add sentiments, to add little images. The sky's the limit with these kits, so don't just think you're limited to what you print out. Pull out some of your wonderful stamps that you have and experiment adding some of your fun images. On this particular one, I have a bee image, and I'm going to go ahead and just add it to the second page because I just think it really goes well. A lot of the ephemera that I created for this passport kit is a bee theme, so it worked really nicely with this stamp. And remember, if you are stamping and you do have a little boo-boo with your ink, washi tape is wonderful to cover up some of those boo-boos. So some of my ink had stamped over onto my second page. So I just went ahead and I added some washi tape to cover up some of that excess ink. Now, as I said in the beginning, I did add a fourth page to this kit, and I think I'm going to be adding a page like this on my kits going forward. And this is a page that has 4 images that measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 panels that would fit an A2 size card. And this again is to encourage you to create not only your passport kit but also your cards. These panels also work really well for the passport books that I've shared for you. Now, in some of my past videos, I had actually attached the second page to my passport card before adding some of the images to the opposite side. But I found it's a lot easier to add your cardstock to your page before you adhere it to the back of your card. So you may want to go ahead and try this when you are putting together your kit. You have enough paper to cover the inside panels where all the white is showing with some of this really cute cardstock. So just mix and match, figure out what design you like best, and then cover your inside of your card. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Of course, you can measure these out with a ruler, but typically what I'll do is I'll just figure out what kind of cardstock I want to use, and I just kind of put it right up against what I'm going to cover. The coverage doesn't have to be exact. In fact, sometimes I do like to have a little bit of white showing on my edges, but certainly you can measure this up to cover the inside of your card exactly how you want it. And then, of course, if you have any excess, you can just trim it off. Now, remember, as you add your pieces of cardstock, you're going to want to go ahead and add some of that distress ink that we talked about earlier to cover up some of that white space. And then this little bee honeycomb image is a perfect size image to go on the inside of your first page. And this is the page that we just covered. So I just cut it out and added some of my distress ink, and as you can see, it's a perfect fit for the inside of that first page. When I am putting these kits together, I really do my best to size these perfectly. So all you need to do is print, cut, and put them together. There's nothing worse than having to try to resize some of these. And the reason that I don't resize or make some of these pages smaller for the inside is because I want you to have extra cardstock to add some of those tucks or pockets if you want. And if I did size down those 5 by 7 pieces, then you wouldn't have the extra cardstock. And that's the only reason I don't size those down. I figure you can easily just get out your scissors and figure out the size to cover the insides of your cards. And not only that, this gives you some options. If I was the one to actually size it down, then you would be stuck with what I had chosen for you. But I wanted you to be able to have different variations for the inside covers. But always I do try to match my colors so that way they do coordinate well. These 2 pieces of 5 by 7 cardstock are great to use for the inside of your passport cards, but not only that, they're great for just regular cards as well. You can create 5 by 7 cards, you can create A2 cards, which are the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. There's just so many options, and I want to make sure that you do have enough cardstock when you do sit down to create. Now, the adhesive that I use when I'm adding my cardstock to the inside of my passport card is just regular adhesive from my ATG gun. But when I create the pocket, which I'll be showing you here in a moment, I like to use a little bit stronger adhesive. And this is where I pull out my Redline tape. Now, the Redline tape is really strong, and I typically like to use it on places where I'm going to be putting things inside and out. I like to put them on the tucks as well, because again, you're going to be interacting with those areas when you're working with your ephemera. Now, the ephemera that I'm talking about is the piece that comes in your kit, but keep in mind, again, you can add anything to your kit. You don't necessarily have to just stick to what I give you. So make sure that you look within your stash and come up with some of your own ideas for your passport ephemera. So the Redline tape comes in these rolls here, and I like to put them on the sides as well as on the bottom. But if you don't have enough and you don't want to put it on the bottom, then really the sides is the most important, because you're going to be adding your ephemera inside and out of that little pocket. Now, another thing that I like to do to help secure that pocket is to add some washi tape. And you're going to want to make sure that you add your washi tape before you adhere your panel. I will add my washi tape on the top part of my pocket like I'm showing you here, and then I'll wrap it around, and that way when I do adhere my panel to the back page of my passport card, I know that that pocket is really secure and it won't be coming up when I'm adding my ephemera and pulling it out of my card as well. And as you notice, I do like to round my corners. I have that big chomping tool that I use for my passport cards, and those work really well when I'm trying to round my corners. But any corner rounder will work. You just want to make sure that it is strong enough to go through a couple of pieces of cardstock. Now I did something a little bit different this time. Within the ephemera, I did provide you some little images that you can fussy cut and add to your background. And these, of course, are the little bees. Now you can easily cut these out and have white background. Maybe you want to use a whole round punch or a round die. But I wanted to go ahead and fussy cut my bees because I wanted it to look like they were flying around in my garden. And again, the top part of your passport kit, your passport page, the very first page, is just full of flowers. So those bees would look really great on top of your first page. But you have a lot of ephemera options. So if you don't want to go with the bees and you don't want to necessarily do some of your fussy cutting, you have some other images that would look great as well. One thing I do like to do when I am creating my kits is I want to give you some really pretty paper. So if you don't want to cover it, you don't have to. You could have easily just left those roses there. You could add the beads like I did on this particular page, or you can add some of the other ephemera. It really is your choice. And of course, the favorite part of putting together this passport card is decorating it with the fun ephemera. As you see, I did provide you a little clock that has this little butterfly, and I decided to put that on the back page of my passport card. But again, this could go on your front panel. It can go on the other pages. Sky's the limit with this passport kit. And then I did create a little label that can go on the top as well. Now, on this particular one, I saw that I wanted to put my label on the top, and I unfortunately put my little clock to cover it, but no worries. I just went ahead and I put it on the pocket. And perhaps the next one that I create, I will remember to not put my clock so tall, so far up, so that way I can put that little piece of ephemera as a label. Now your ephemera also will work for some text, so keep that in mind when you are putting your kit together. As you saw here, this hive syrup label worked perfect for a little tuck to go on the inside of my card. And if you don't want to tuck all your ephemera inside of the pocket, like I said, you can use those little tucks, or you can use some of your little metal elements. There are clips out there and little paper clips like I'm showing you here. And this particular one, I believe, is from the Tim Holtz Idea-ology collection that you can easily attach to your cards. I really love the way this kit turned out. I love the bees theme that I created, and I just love the whole vintage garden theme. And hopefully you will too. All right, so as I promised, I wanted to go ahead and share with you another design using the same kit, and this is going to be a layered card. I am using some of the paper from my passport kit, and then I'm also using some layering elements from European Paper Crafts. I had several choices of what I could use for this card, and I decided to go with this little garden scene. I thought it worked great with my passport vintage garden design, and hopefully you will think so too. These layering kits, I think I'm getting a little obsessed with, and I just love them. The layers are just so pretty once you put them all together, and they are down to the detail on these. I have several layers, which you'll be seeing me put on this little image. And once you are finished with the card, the pop-up on this design is just beautiful. So while I'm putting this card together, I want to remind you of a couple of things. Now, the kit that you're going to get, of course, is digital, and you're going to get four 8.5 by 11 sheets with your kit. And then keep in mind that there are some add-on kits. I do have a really fun Bugs ATC add-on that goes great with this kit as well, so I'll make sure I link it below. Now, for those of you that don't have a printer or don't have a good quality printer, I will create some embellishment kits as well, and these kits will give you everything that you need to create these cards. Now, in this particular demonstration, I didn't put together one of those passport journals, but when you click on the links to go to some of the other videos, you will be able to see how to put together those really cute passport journals as well. So as you can see, using these European paper craft pop-ups, it really did go well with my kit. And I just love these pop-ups. I'll leave links to the pop-ups that I used for this card because I think they are perfect for spring, and you'll be able to check those out. And I will be able to offer you a 10% discount if you do decide to get some of these pop-ups over at European Paper Crafts. So watch for that in the links below as well. So as always, I'll leave a list of all the products that I've used to create these cards along with the links to the stores. Now don't forget, the release is going to be on March the 5th, but I may release this video just a few days early. And if I do, then the kit will be available in my shop a couple days early. But just go ahead and check it out with the links below. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this month's passport kit. I have released a kit every month now for the last 3 months. And then I also did 2 in December. So if you haven't seen those videos, be sure to check those out. And those will be in the playlist. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.